What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. Ron Yates here. Hope you guys are doing well. So the Fed had a big meeting, and the Fed is actually going to have another large meeting tomorrow. It's going to be very interesting what the Fed ultimately ends up doing with interest rates, and this is definitely going to be affecting the economy. It's going to affect the stock market, all ETFs, all stocks. Okay, this is ultimately going to affect mortgage rates. It's going to affect investors' outlooks on the market. And this is going to let us know a lot about the direction that we're headed in terms of inflation and how severe this recession will be here in the United States and potentially globally. Now, I got this comment, and it came in, and it says, "I really appreciate the time you spend keeping us informed about the economy. As of May 10th, 2023, I count on $1,500. What do you suggest me to invest in?" So, number one, I just want to say this is a really good comment, and I want to do my best to answer this question, but I feel like there's some variables, some information that's a little bit kind of left out on this one to really answer it as best as I possibly can. So, I'm not 100% sure if this $1,500 that you're talking about investing in is this like your total household income? Is this your total income that you have? Or is this $1,500 that you're going to have? Is it a lump sum? Are you going to have $1,500 every month to work with starting May 10th, 2023? So there's some variables that I'm not quite sure about when I'm reading this question. But also, there's a lot of things I want to kind of go into with this one. Like, what are your goals? How old are you? Because this is going to have a big effect on what I would do if I were you in that situation. Like, if I'm 25 years old, if I'm 30 years old and I got $1,500 a month left over to invest, there's a lot of things that I can do with that, right? Now, with $1,500 a month, depending upon what my income is, right, my income level, I might consider putting all $1,500 into, a handful of ETFs, stocks, in the stock market. I might take that $1,500 and, assuming this is $1,500 a month, I might take that $1,500 a month and maybe start looking at what types of businesses I could start, because you'll have more control over the business. However, depending upon your experience running businesses, you may or may not, this may or may not be the best avenue for you. What I mean to say is if you've got success running previous businesses, then your likelihood of having more success starting a new one or even expanding an existing business would be much greater than the average person. Now, someone who never ever started a business before, their chances of success is not going to be as high as someone who is experienced. Another thing that I would do is, and this is probably actually what I would do first, I would ask myself this: if I'm working a job right now, am I actually earning the maximum amount of income that I can earn given my current skill set and given what I do in the marketplace? So let's just say hypothetically, you're in the computer field, and if you're making, say, $50,000 a year, and you're you're a lower level IT related engineer, then I would say you might want to take some of that $1,500 a month and invest in learning some new skills, because within the computer field, if you're only making $50,000 a year, then you could easily add to that skill set and hit six figures. And so now, if you only went from $50,000 a year to $100,000 a year, and this example applies to any industry, if you can raise your skill set to increase your income from $50,000 a year to $100,000 a year by, maybe spending $3,000 on schooling, education, a certification. Think about it. If you put $3,000 in and you got an extra $50,000 a year out, that is a tremendous rate of return or ROI on your investment. it's hard to beat investing in yourself. And this is why I'm always, a huge proponent of investing in myself, because in no way, shape, or form can you really invest in anything else that will give you the type of yield or rate of return that you'll get investing in yourself. It's funny, I actually got this certification years ago, and it cost me like $1,000. And at the time, $1,000 was a tremendous amount of money to me. And no one else was interested in doing this. None of my friends were doing this. Most of my friends were not interested in investing or any of the things that I was interested in my 20s. But I took it upon myself to, cut back on some expenses, refinance my car so that I could have a lower car payment, because I wasn't making very much money, but I had really good credit. So thanks to having good credit, I was able to refinance my car, and I only had I think I had 30 months left on the car payment, right? But since my credit was so good, I was able to extend how long I was financing the car for. Now, most people would look at me and, say that, oh man, Ron, that was so stupid to have done that. But hear me out. So I leveraged my good credit. I might have had, 740 credit score or whatever. And I refinanced the car. But by doing this, and I had this car for like a year and a half, 2 years or something like that. I think maybe it was 2.5 years. But by refinancing the car, it lowered my car payment because I had like 3 years left. But by refinancing the car, I gave myself 72 months to pay the car back. So just imagine, I doubled how long it was going to take for me to pay the car off if I made my scheduled car payments. But by doing that, I increased how much money was available in my total cash flow for my budget per month. So I think my car payment went from like $500 a month down to I think it was like $290. So, I had an extra couple $100 a month left over by refinancing the car, and I still had the option to always, pay extra if I chose to. But by extending my car payment out to, 72 months, I freed up my cash flow. That helped me to be able to save the money that I needed to invest in myself into this $1,000, certification or course. So 6 or 8 weeks later, I completed the course, passed the test, I get certified, and I increased my income by like $15,000 a year. So just look at it like this. Put $1,000 in, got an extra $15,000 by the end of the year. So I took $1,000 and I turned $1,000 into $15,000. What stock are you going to invest in that's going to give you that kind of rate of return? Just to give you some perspective, imagine you buy Microsoft for $100 a share. I don't know how much Microsoft stock is right now. Amazon stock, Apple stock, Bed Bath & Beyond stock. Well, I don't know if I'm about that at all. But let's just say, hypothetically, Amazon stock is $100 a share. The rate of return that I just explained to you guys by what I did with my, investing in myself and how much it increased my income, it is the equivalent of taking $100, buying Amazon stock, and after 6 months, that Amazon stock is no longer worth $100. It's now worth $1,500. Okay? Because I have 15x'd my investment. And so, again, going back to what I was saying earlier, it's very tough to beat the rate of return of investing in yourself compared to just about any other investment's rate of return. Most investments are not going to give you a 1,500% rate of return. S&P 500, this is the benchmark indice, and its rate of return over the last, 50 years is roughly anywhere between 10 and 12%. So for you to get 1,500%, you're going to have to start a business or invest in yourself. So, anyway, just wanted to give you some food for thought. I think it was a great question. What can you invest in? What if you had an extra $1,500 a month? What could you invest in? But yeah, if you're watching this video, I hope I answered your question. And if I did not answer your question entirely, please feel free to drop me a comment down below and elaborate more on your situation. I'd love to hear from you. I hope this is of value. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Also drop a like for the video if you made it this far. I'm gonna see you guys on the next one.